You've got your D64s, you've got your D81s. Maybe you even know what a G64 is, but there's another format out there, DNP, and most 64 Ultimate users have no idea what it is, where it came from, or whether they even need it. Today, we fix that. Stick around.
Let's go into the Monroe world.
All right, so disk images. If you've spent any time with the 64 Ultimate, or honestly any C64 emulator, you've probably just grabbed a D64 and called it a day. And that works. Most of the time. But there's a whole family of formats out there, and if you don't know what they are, you may be missing out. Quick rundown. D64, that's your standard 1541 disk image. 174 kilobytes, 35 tracks, easily the most common format out there. G64 is a low-level format, captures raw flux timing, copy protection, all that. D71 is your 1571 double-sided image. D81 covers the 1581, a 3.5-inch 800K disc. Each image is a snapshot of an existing disk format. The further down that list you go, the more storage you're dealing with. So what happened when people actually needed real storage on the Commodore? Not floppies. Hard drives. Yeah, mid to late 80s, fiscal information, later picked up by Z-Tech, dropped the Lieutenant Kernal, a hard drive, for your Commodore 64. Yes, really. And the thing was expensive, like $1,600 out the gate in 1986. Most people never had one. I certainly never had one. The Lieutenant Kernal uses a big host adapter that plugs into the expansion port and loaded a custom DOS wedge directly into memory on boot. 2 key shortcuts @ $, whatever, to navigate directories and load files without typing out full DOS commands every single time. It divided its storage into logical units, LUs, and it set the stage, and it's often what people relate to when you talk about hard drives and the Commodore 64. But it's not where DNP comes from. For that, we need the successor. Creative Micro Designs, CMD, built their own hard drive line, the CMD HD. And here's the first thing worth knowing about it. Unlike Lieutenant Kernal, the CMD HD did not require anything special on the C64 side. No host adapter in the expansion port, no kernel ROM replacement. You plugged it into the standard IEC serial port on a completely stock, unmodified C64, and it just worked. That's a big deal. CMD also wrote a brand new advanced DOS for this drive, and they moved away from LUs entirely. They introduced something new, the CMD Native Partition. That's DNP, Disk Native Partition. A DNP file is a one-to-one digital image of one of those partitions. Now, CMD actually shipped their own software wedge. You could load off the drive itself to get the @ shortcut syntax without touching the kernel ROM. Jiffy DOS took it further. ROM resident permanent faster transfers, totally worth it, but optional. A single CM HD could hold multiple native partitions on one physical drive. Each partition up to 16 megabytes, which sounds crazy. Each one assigned its own device number, looking to the 64 like a completely separate physical drive. The CMD HD came in sizes up to 340 megabytes, dear God, depending on the model, although 20 and 40 megabytes were more common, so you could still stack a lot of partitions in there. A 40 megabyte unit could hold the equivalent of a couple hundred floppies. Insane. But it's not just the size, it's what you could do with that space. CMD literally had to invent a brand new Commodore file type, DIR, just to make nested folders work. So DNP isn't that flat, you get 144 files and that's it situation you get with a D64. It's a giant image with actual directory structure that the C64 treats as a physical drive. That's what it is. Now, before you get excited, let's talk about what DNP is not. It's not a container for disk images. You cannot stuff D64s inside of a DNP and call it a game collection. A DNP holds files, C64 file types, PRG, SEQ, REL, DIR. That's it. There's no 1541 DOS layer in there, no track and sector structure, no copy protection, none of that. So what does that mean practically? Commercial games, forget about it. The vast majority of commercial C64 software was designed to run from a 1541. It expects a specific disk layout, specific load addresses, and sometimes custom DOS routines, sometimes protection schemes. A DNP can't replicate any of that, so you are not mounting impossible mission on a DNP. Now, what can work? Single-file PRG programs, a utility, a basic program, certainly one-part demos, a one-part game, and there are plenty of those kicking around, but the moment a title needs a second side, a multi-load, or anything that expects real 1541 behavior, it's not going to work out of a DNP. Too bad. So the DNP's value as a game library is genuinely limited. Where it shines is productivity software, utilities, organizational archives of single-file programs, and one other thing we'll get to in a second. Now, do you need it on the C64 Ultimate? For most people, probably not. The C64 Ultimate has a full SD or flash drive storage option, built-in file browser, virtual drives that mount D64s on the fly, subdirectories natively right out of the box. The whole reason DNP existed, big organized partitions that you could navigate. The C64 Ultimate already solves that problem a completely different way. Could you mount a DNP on the C64 Ultimate? Yeah, you mount it as like a soft IEC. The firmware supports that, shows up, you navigate it from inside the C64, it works. Should you build a new one for general use? Probably not. Folders on the SD card and the individual D64s get you there without the overhead. But there is one use case where DNP on the C64 Ultimate isn't just useful, it's arguably the right answer. BBS software. Think about it. Color 64, Image BBS, whatever you're running, that software was written to talk to IEC devices by number. Device 8, Device 9, Device 10, it does not know what an SD card is. It expects to open and close files on a logical drive it can address by device number. That's how it's written. That's all it knows. BBSs usually need lots of space for file servers so that 16 megabyte partitions aren't going to waste. The C64 Ultimate presents its virtual drives over IEC. So if you mount a DNP as one of these sort of virtual devices, your BBS software sees exactly what it was designed to see. Something that looks and behaves like a CMD HD partition. Large storage, real subdirectory support, the DIR file type, and all of it. Software written for CMD hardware navigates it natively. No modification required. So what if you're running a BBS on a C64 Ultimate and you want to host files? DNP is not a legacy curiosity. It's actually the correct tool for the job. And hey, quick warning, if you're messing with DNPs on a modern PC, a lot of people use DirMaster to manage C64 disk images. Great tool. Talked about it a lot on the show. It can create new DNP images from scratch, but DirMaster has a long-standing, well-known issue where if you try to open and modify an existing DNP, add files, delete files, whatever, it will corrupt the internal directory structure or BAM, block availability map. Bad news, create fresh fine. Edit existing, don't do it. DNP, historically important, born from the CMD HD, still functional on the C64 Ultimate. For most people, you'll probably never create one, but now you know what it is when you see it. And if you're running a BBS, now you know exactly why you might. If this helped you understand a corner of the C64 ecosystem you did not know existed, hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more of this kind of thing. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time.